Greetings, today is February 25th, 2025, and we're back with another video. In this video, we're going to be going over pretty much a big breaking news story, which is Marvel and DC joining forces to create a new series of comics where your DC superheroes and your Marvel superheroes are going to be in the same universe, okay? Back in like 1996, we had this type of event called DC versus Marvel. And with DC versus Marvel back then, it was pretty much the comic book industry was on damn near on their last leg. It was pretty much going bankrupt. And they needed something to rejuvenate the comic book industry because kids wasn't buying comics. Young kid at the time, I remember video games was getting very popular and big, and it literally nuked any other entertainment medium that kids was involved with, you know? So for them to rejuvenate interest in comics, they joined forces to create the DC versus Marvel storylines. And it was good. It was actually a real good comic. There was a lot of new characters that came out of nowhere where there was creative teams working together to actually create new characters and new storylines for its time. Now, mind you, this is 1996. But fast forward to today, me and the homies were sitting there looking at the landscape of comics. And right now, they are about to release a new version of this DC versus Marvel. And at the same time, this comes on the heels of Toy Fair. Now, it got me thinking. Me and the homies were discussing. It was like, well, what is this fair for? How does this fare well for the two big brands of companies that are DC and Marvel, which is Hasbro and Mcfarlane? Because Hasbro pretty much owns not only the Marvel license, but they own the Star Wars license. You know, with Power Rangers license, they just turned to crap. But they own the Marvel license. And you have Mcfarlane, which owns the DC license. And we were sitting there speculating, well, what would this look like? What would this look like for Toy Fair? We know that both licenses are up for both of these brands, you know? Will DC renew the license with Mcfarlane? Will Hasbro renew the licenses with Marvel? And we don't know. Everything is up in the air right now. But with this year, come next month, actually, you know, we're going to get Toy Fair. And with this new series that's coming out, Marvel versus DC, I'm starting to speculate, how will this affect the toy line, you know? Will Hasbro start making DC characters? Will Mcfarlane start making Marvel characters? This is a very telling time because, like I said, this hasn't happened since 1996. And I don't know if anybody's thinking about this, but I am. Like, what type of toys could come out of this? If both companies were to keep their respective licenses, right? Like Mcfarlane keeps his DC license, Hasbro keeps their Marvel license. You know what I'm saying? What does this look like with this comic coming out? Now, this could be very, very good for collectors because we can get Hasbro to start making DC characters, which everybody wants. They want those 6-inch figures, you know, to see what they look like. And then we got Mcfarlane can make, you know, Marvel figures. And you know he wants to get to that Mcfarlane Spider-Man. That is not, sorry to tell you guys, but that Maximum Spider-Man is not Mcfarlane Spider-Man. I don't care what you guys like to call it. It's not Mcfarlane Spider-Man. Official Mcfarlane Spider-Man will come from Mcfarlane Toys. I guarantee that. With his sculpt and design and the way he draws Spider-Man, that's what we'll get. I will want that version rather than what Hasbro is trying to give us. But with this that's happening, and with Toy Fair coming around, we could probably see some hints and clues as far as both of these universes colliding, which will be good for collectors. I will want to see Hasbro hammer out some of the heroes of DC. I will want to see Mcfarlane hammer out some of the heroes and some of the big monsters from Marvel. This will be a great opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to look at and say, okay, well, what can these respective companies do? If they were given the opportunity, a one-shot deal, you only get one chance at this, and you can't screw it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this will be epic. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, I will want 7-inch Marvel figures. Yep, I do. I want them to go right well with my McFarlane DC action figures. And so will Hasbro collectors. You know, those Hasbros will definitely want to see Batman in 6-inch form, Wonder Woman in 6-inch form. You can get that too. Everybody can be happy. All right? There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of craziness going around in the collecting community, but I think this would bring everything full circle. And like I said, this would be a 1-year event for both companies to just ham out a few figures. Not the whole line, just a few figures. Some of the mainstays, some of the top, you know, the big leaguers in, you know, action figure format. And I think that'll be perfect for the collecting community. You know what I'm saying? Because I would want to see what Hasbro do with a Lobo or a Batman. I do. Or Superman. I would want to see what McFarlane does with a Spider-Man or a big, Incredible Hulk or Wolverine. I want to see that. Black Cat. Yep. I want to see his Elektra. I want to see Daredevil from McFarlane. Yes, I do. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, like I said, everybody has their respective scaling as far as what they want. But can you imagine? We go in a toy fair and they announce, hey, we're joining forces. It's a one-time event at Toy Fair, and Hasbro's going to give you some classic DC characters. Can you imagine what that look like? That'd be awesome. Both companies will be making a lot of profits from this. Because right now, I'm going to tell you something. It's not looking good as far as comic books. Comic books really need a adrenaline shot of creativity, man, because it's not selling. Comic books are on a decline. You have comic book shops closing up. This could reinvigorate the entire Western comic book industry. And to sit there and actually see Hasbro knock out some DC figures and to see McFarlane knock out some Marvel figures, this will be great. This will be a great opportunity. It's never been done before. It's been done in 1996. That's the last time we got that. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I mean? The only crossover event that happened that was actually really, really impactful came from McFarlane. Because he had Batman and Spawn in a package, action figures, and he had the comic book. That was one of the most successful launches for a mashup between Image Comics and DC. And that's not to say that DC can't do that with Marvel. They can. Given the opportunity, this is a perfect opportunity for Hasbro to climb themselves out of that bleeding corpse that is Star Wars. I'm sorry, but those figures are not doing good. They're not. You still don't have force hands or nothing. Hasbro needs an invigorating jolt, man. And Marvel can't save them by themselves. I think with this joint venture, this can really start putting a little bit of light on what is the possibilities. You know, because like I said, both licenses are pretty much going to be over this year. DC and Marvel. Where they going to go? Why not, you know what I'm saying, stretch their legs a little bit and say, okay, you know, let this team create this and let this team create this and see how it looks. See where it fares out. Because they can still extend the licenses for both respective parties. But hey, you know what I mean? For collectors, dude, we can get some awesome concepts or some awesome figures from this year's Toy Fair. You know what I'm saying? And I think that'll be really good for, you know what I mean, all collectors. But yeah, that's my take on it. You know what I mean? Tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get this discussion going because it just dawned on me that Toy Fair is next month. It's right around the corner. And we have a big event coming up in comics, which is DC versus Marvel. This is a great opportunity for both respective parties, McFarlane and Hasbro. But that's it. I'll catch you another video in the future. Peace.